Hey guys, it's been a long time since I did one of my Totaltext reviews, and I am pretty excited about what I have to offer up tonight. Especially after, I don't want to rib Ken Penders anymore, but I'm still going to buy it when it comes out. But what I have for you tonight, I've gotten a sneak peek at the new book by Greg Smith. This is the first in the series, The Pits. Believe he's calling this the Kramer and Shadow series. This is also the first physical, meat space edition that I bought that was self-published. And I gotta say, just for the cover and the presentation of the thing, pretty flippin' good. It's a lot of quality to be had here. Now, I'm not one typically to read a crime novel. That's just not a genre that I've really gravitated towards. I'm usually more of a science fiction, fantasy kind of guy, maybe even more like literary, but there's a lot to love here for a sophisticated and mature reader. I found a real diamond in the rough, and I'm not lying. The story follows the cases of a United States Marine Corps. I can't remember exactly what the designation was. His name is Kramer. He has a dog that was also a service dog that fought with him in Afghanistan. And one of the biggest strengths of this novel is just the descriptions of the behavior of the dog. You can really imagine and see the things that this dog does, and for anyone who has dogs in their life, you're going to immediately have such a great image of this character and of his general demeanor. Now, the other thing that makes this work is if you're going to do a crime novel, and again, take this with a little bit of a grain of salt because I'm not exactly an expert on this, but the crime novels have to be very thoroughly researched. And they need to be grounded in a kind of logic that can be followed so that you can kind of feel like you're trying to get ahead of the story, trying to figure out where it's going to go. And Greg Smith has a fantastic eye for that. The plot, the way that it unfolds, is so realistic. And yet he keeps the realism dialed back enough that he actually balances between the absolute big detail of a literary work and a page turner. There's a lot to be had from a page turner in sheer readability of a novel. You can be exceedingly high-minded and communicate with virtually no one. He does not have that problem. He's got a very good mix of maturely developed characters, but a plot progression that is fast enough to keep you going throughout the novel. Now, the other thing that really works about this series so far, and I'm actually reading the sequel to The Pits, and this new one's called You Can Run. He's obviously researched this stuff. He knows what he's talking about. His depiction of the bureaucracy of the FBI, it kind of feels like you're there. And this was one of the things that is kind of a quirk of mine. When I'm reading a science fiction novel, I cannot get enough of the weird bureaucratic infighting. You don't see it done very well, though, as often as it should be. L. Ron Hubbard is an example of someone who completely bungled a bureaucratic system and just completely sucked all the life out of it. I actually really like L. Ron Hubbard, but that was one of the things that he just absolutely hammered into the ground. He speaks like someone who is coming from a legitimate military background. Possibly even, I don't really know that much about his life story, possibly even a law enforcement background. He talks the talk, and it really looks like he walked the walk. Because you can detect and you can tell when somebody doesn't really know what they're talking about, and they're trying to write a book that's like posing through a plot that should function, and it's just clearly not. So, I'm excited about this work because it is self-published. And Greg Smith, he is the single most disciplined writer that I have encountered in the self-published circuit. Most of the people that I've worked with there's a lot of things in creative writing that are just hiccups that you can tell they don't really know what they're doing. That's kind of part of their charm for me. I enjoy that type of thing, but often that runs headlong into readability. Most editors in the writing industry, that's what they're looking for. You're trying to maximize audience as much as you possibly can. That can kind of interfere with the quality of the work sometimes. Smith is such a great balance of, good, trustworthy, and, useful writing tactics with the edge and the kind of unpredictability that comes with someone who isn't necessarily always giving in and compromising on their ideals. Even though it has the appearance of something that could easily go to one of the legit publishers, it still has that bite to it that says self-published. The good part of it. So, I can't say this enough. If you're a fan of self-published works, you gotta give Greg Smith a try. I mean, you'll be shocked, especially if you're new to the genre of crime novels. It's a great introductory piece if it's something that you would like to try out for the first time. And I think old salts in this field would find something to fall in love with here. His characterizations, his descriptions, all around 100 A+, fantastic work. Thank you very much.